I find it interesting that Inojin has also become a singularity of fate. I think we kind of glossed over that aspect in page 20. And I find it interesting when Koji confirms that in the future timeline, Himori actually died.
What?
Yes, this is a jutsu that he created to get revenge for Himawari, and I find it really interesting that Inojin was able to come up with a technique
Uh-huh.
that's able to counter an Otsutsuki level threat. I mean, it is a bad timeline, but Koji understand that it was really helpful. So it's basically like with the Boruto situation. He spent 6 years trying to create the Flying Raijin Jutsu, and it was really helpful. But that future needed to be avoided, so he gave him the intel now. And I think Mello asked this yesterday about is it like would it be something similar to the mind transfer jutsu? If you go back to chapter 20, Koji says it's backwards compatible with the mind transfer jutsu. So it seems like it'll 100% be something related to the Yamanaka clan techniques.
So did he express why Himawari died in that timeline, or he
He
just
was
alluded
really
to it?
vague,
Right.
but we've had multiple times with Himori getting death flags. Like he specifically says that if Himori leaves the village, she'll die,
Mm,
or
true.
if something happens, she'll die. And I feel like we were talking about yesterday how Himawari, if Himawari will be in the battle, I think she will actually, because he specifically mentions Boruto and Himawari, and how the battle has to be in the village, or he'll go after them if they move. So if Himawari wasn't going to be in that battle, there's no need to mention her being away from the village. So I
Right.
think we might actually get some Himawari time. I think she'll actually be able to improve her tailed beast techniques,
Of
and she'll be
course.
part of the main team.
Yeah. Because I mean, so since Koji has the ability to pretty much like speed up the process of certain jutsus, and he taught that to Inojin. So did he like kind of explain what the ability is and like the mechanics behind it, or was he vague in that point too? Because
He
I
was
didn't really
vague,
get to.
but he gave us some useful information.
Mhm.
He said it's backwards compatible with the mind transfer jutsu, meaning that it
Right.
has to be some type of mind technique. And we're fighting a threat who has basically drones. So I don't know if you watched. Did you ever watch CW Flash?
Yeah, I watched the Flash. I didn't finish it though.
You only need to watch the first season.
Yeah, I watched the first
So
season.
do you remember that one dude who could clone himself?
Yes.
And you remember how Caitlyn grew one, and it was basically a drone. And then when it got activated, it wanted to go where its original was, where the others were.
Right.
So in my mind, Mamoshi's ability functions the same way, because if you split one up, they'll instinctively want to go to where they're all gathered to.
Right.
So I feel like if it's backwards compatible with the mind transfer jutsu, what does the mind transfer jutsu does? It allows you to take over a person's body, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So like we were theorizing yesterday, it might be something where he can take over multiple bodies at once. I feel like that's my
Mm.
going theory right now
So
because
instead of like the traditional where they can only have one target, he can choose multiple targets to control their bodies.
yes, I feel like that would be really
That would
interesting,
be OP.
or even something to where because Mamushi is dealing with that low IQ when he splits
Hmm.
himself,
Hmm.
it could be something subliminal, like how we saw Mamushi giving orders to the others.
Hmm.
Inojin could, on the flip side, try to give orders to those drones and just have them knock their eyes out.
Is Momushi's ability, because I remember before we was talking about his abilities, but it was kind of like an educated guess from fans, and it was saying like he can control people. Oh no, he can mimic people's abilities. He can do some other sorts of things. I can't remember off the top of my head. So he splits himself kind of like a shadow clone jutsu, right?
Yes.
Okay, so when I was doing a little research, forgive me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong. This was a while ago when I did the research. When Naruto does shadow clones, he split his chakra between each shadow clone. But the only reason why his shadow clones was so strong was because Naruto had like a crazy amount of chakra in
Yes.
order for those shadow clones to be strong. So is that the same thing when it comes to Mamushi? Is he splitting his chakra between the other vessels, or are they just as strong as him?
So they're actually just as strong. So I feel like it's
Wow.
not confirmed that it's a Shinjutsu,
Hmm.
but it kind of feels like a Shinjutsu version of shadow clones or just any other clone technique where they're just pale imitations.
Mm.
Because he still has, if I had to compare it, it's literally duplicate or multipole from Invincible, where they're basically all the clones. Like if you kill the original and there's still a clone. That's the real them.
Invincible. When did this happen in Invincible? The dude with the big brain?
Not the dude with the big brain. So what's her name? Duplicate Kate, the one who can clone herself,
Oh, okay. I'm
and
going
then her
crazy.
brother.
Okay, yeah.
So that's basically the power. The only difference is the more he clones himself, the dumber he gets, and, and the more pain he feels. So each Mamushi is just as strong. The only difference is they're kind of all Mamushi. So if you kill every one of them, you leave one. That's basically Mamushi.
Hmm.
There's no necessarily real original.
Right, got you.
There did seem to be one that was smarter than the others that was giving them commands, but so far
Hmm.
it seems they're all Mamashi. So I'm not the dude with the big brain. So what's her name? Duplicate Kate, the one who can clone herself,
Okay. I'm
and
going
then her
crazy.
brother.
Okay, yeah.
So that's basically the power. The only difference is the more he clones himself, the dumber he gets, and, and the more pain he feels. So each Mamushi is just as strong. The only difference is they're kind of all Mamushi. So if you kill every one of them, you leave one. That's basically Mamushi.
Hmm.
There's no necessarily real original.
Right, got you.
There did seem to be one that was smarter than the others that was giving them commands, but so far
Hmm.
it seems they're all Mamushi. So I'm really interested to see how Inojin uh deals against Mamushi. And I feel like I'm gonna piss off a few Shippuden fans right now. But it's funny because the whole motif of TBV is love, right?
Yes, yeah.
And Juro right now is studying love and how that seems to hinder Shinobi, but also empower Shinobi.
Right.
Inojin almost got clapped by Juro. Himori tapped into a brand new power source through love.
Hmm.
Sarada did the same thing with her Mangekyo Sharingan. And you have all these Shinobi being empowered through love. And it goes back to the Land of Waves arc in Naruto, where if you have someone to protect, that's where you become truly strong. And it sort of negates what Kawaki's thinking about how ninjas aren't able to handle these new threats.
Hmm.
And and I also find it interesting that where they do lose their loved ones, like Inojin lost Himawari in Koji's future.
Mm.
And he buckled down and was able to invent a jutsu that could take down an Otsutsuki level threat. But what I find interesting, it seems like it's only the new gen that's tapping into these newer sources of power and not the old gen. So I feel like there's a clear divide between them
Right.
because you don't have Koji saying, Boruto, I need you to go hit up Rock Lee. He invented a new variation of the eight gates. We need that.
Right. Right.
And I find it really interesting that the new gen is able to like think outside of the box and think outside of the norm and just invent these abilities, just like how Sumire also got a new technique. And Boruto even
Maybe
says,
maybe the Ojin can't learn those techniques because that's not in their repertoire. Like Kashin Koji, he like you said, it's all about love. It was about people who most of the characters who unlocked like certain abilities was through loss or some type of love, like Sarda. Like she lost old girl who doesn't matter, but she lost her, but she really didn't play any significant role in her life, like as if she would have lost Boruto or something like that. Whereas you have Himawari and you have Inojin. Inojin, it's been alluded to that he has a crush um, on Himawari. So seeing her die, that may unlock some type of jutsu. Now, if I'm understand it correctly, he created this jutsu after she died, right? It
Yes.
wasn't nothing like a jutsu that can save her or something like that. Like she was gone.
Yes, he wanted revenge, basically.
Okay, got it. Got it. Yeah, so that's like a driving force though. Like that's a driving force for him to seek revenge. He most likely did all he could to get to a point where he is able to like contest with Osuski threats. Like for instance, if they like in that timeline, they don't show you the full capacity of what happened. Inojin could have been like a damsel in distress pretty much. Like he had no way to contest with whatever threat killed Himawari, obviously, because she died. So in his mind, he wanted to gain the strength so that never happened again.
100%. And it's interesting to see all these catalysts. And we don't know how long it took Inojin to invent this technique.
Right.
Because in Boruto's case with the Flying Raijin, it took him 6 years. So he was damn near 19 when he died.
Right.
And I just find it really interesting that all these new gen characters seem to have catalysts. Like Sumire, she now has a technique that Boruto even says that this is the best technique in its class, like in its scientific class, to where
What
he's
page is
alluding
that?
to. Let's see, it is page 30. And like we know she's been studying under Amado and she's been researching stuff. Right now, in my mind, it feels like it's being alluded to that she's been studying Kawa, because in the future, flash forward, we have Boruto using his sword. Suka Hikona would normally be able to shrink that sword. If he's using that sword, it makes me think that Sumire invented this technique specifically for Boruto to combat Kawaki. And it's really interesting that he thinks that this sword, or Koji thinks that the sword upgrade will be enough to help the future out. And it just makes me think about the new gen being able to sort of think outside of the box. Because the old gen, until we see Koji include them in on a plan, and for now it's only been Shikamaru, but it feels like the old gen is kind of tapped out on creativity is what I want to say. Because
or a lot of them could be gone.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is 100% true also. Because it feels like when you're younger, you're able to think a lot more about like different things and how to create things, and it makes me think
You're more creative at that,
yes,
at a younger age, yeah.
Because you have Inojin expanding the mind transfer jutsu, something that Ino never really did.
Yeah.
All Ino kind of did was just learn more advanced techniques from her clan. But then we have Inojin through a catalyst creating a technique that can rival Otsutsuki level of powers, supposedly.
I mean, but at the same time, though, like Ino, she learned the mind transfer jutsu from her clan. And like you said, she advanced it. So it could be the same thing with Inojin. Inojin was taught from his mom, who was taught from her clan, and he found out ways to enhance his mind transfer jutsu just like Ino did, but in a 100%. More advanced way. Yeah. So yeah, he had a foundation to build upon, so he could, learn how to expand what he already has in his repertoire.
100%. And I feel like that goes back to original Naruto. Because what did Naruto say in Boruto in the beginning? They're still inexperienced, but they're gonna, at the end of the day, they might all surpass them. When the Kages were, when the Tsuchikage was saying they're just not up to stuff. They can't handle it, and she's scared for them. Naruto said no. He believes that this type of peace will allow them to train and get better and make bonds and surpass them. And it goes back to what Kakashi said when he was fighting Kakuzu. One by one, the new generation will always surpass him. And it feels like Inojin is surpassing his mom. So we're having these new gen kids surpass their predecessors. And
except Metal-Lee.
Except Metal-Lee, yes. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I was talking with my friend this morning about the chapter, and my friend said he doesn't want to see Rock Lee like on a team.
I love Rock Lee, man.
and it's funny because it feels like, unfortunately, at least in the manga, Rock Lee, Metal-Lee isn't really part of that immediate friend group. So where he was only really shown twice in the manga, I think. And I really hope the anime does show us a bit more, just to like round out the cast, because we still want to see what Denki Niwabi's been doing for 3 years. At least I do.